By the 6th century, a stone grid covered more than 20 square kilometers in the Valley of Mexico. 200,000 people lived here, a population that dwarfed contemporary capitals like Paris or London. When the Aztecs arrived in the valley centuries later, they found the city abandoned and silent. The ruins were so massive they believed the site hadn't been built by men, but forged by the gods themselves. This is the city's monumental core. A central axis called the Avenue of the Dead connects the site's most famous structures, the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon. These structures were built in the iconic talud tablero style. It's an architectural signature defined by a sloped stone base, the talud, supporting a framed vertical panel called the tablero. Yet for all this engineering precision, there are no royal names carved into the stone and no dynastic records in the temples. To understand who built this city, we have to look at how they lived. While most ancient cities featured small, elite centers surrounded by sprawling slums, Teotihuacan lacked traditional poverty districts. Instead, the architects focused on a different type of residential design. These are the floor plans for multi-family apartment compounds. These structures housed up to 100 people and featured stone walls, central courtyards for light, and advanced drainage systems built into the floors. This chart measures wealth inequality. While later Aztec cities score a 0.4 on the Gini index, Teotihuacan scores an incredibly low 0.12. This suggests power was shared among a large, prosperous middle class, rather than a single, all-powerful king. This stability made the city a destination for migrants. In neighborhoods like Teotihuacan, families from Oaxaca lived in their own compounds, maintaining their traditional crafts and burial customs within the larger metropolis. The urban grid and the thousands of stone apartments provided a physical framework for this society, sustaining a level of shared wealth that remained unique in the ancient world. The citizens lived in close contact with their ancestors. They buried dead directly beneath their homes, often tucked into a crouching position and surrounded by ceramic bowls and tools. Inside these compounds, the walls were covered in red plaster murals. These paintings honored the natural world and the city's primary deities, including the rain god Tlaloc and the great goddess. But the city faced a constant environmental threat. Massive megathrust earthquakes repeatedly struck the valley between the 2nd and 6th centuries. These tremors caused the stone walls to buckle and masonry to collapse. The citizens were forced into a cycle of massive, constant reconstruction to keep their monumental core from falling into ruin. As the city struggled to rebuild, the social order shifted. Beneath the pyramids, archaeologists found the remains of sacrificed warriors with their hands tied behind their backs, evidence that the elites were turning towards state violence to maintain their authority. The combination of unavoidable natural disasters and an increasingly oppressive ruling class created a political pressure cooker that the city's social framework could no longer contain. Around 550 CE, the climate shifted. A period of global cooling led to extended droughts and total crop failure. The promise of abundance that the rulers used to justify their power had vanished. What followed was not an invasion by a foreign army. There is no evidence of an outside force entering the valley. Instead, the destruction of the city came from the people who lived there. The burn marks on the ruins are telling. The fires were set systematically, and only in the elite palaces and administrative centers along the Avenue of the Dead. The commoners' apartment compounds were left completely untouched. Before they left, the people performed one final act. Deep in the tunnels beneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, they intentionally sealed away massive pools of toxic liquid mercury. The population didn't scatter in a panic. They executed a coordinated exodus, choosing to burn the symbols of their government and seal their most sacred sites before walking away from the city forever. For 1,500 years, the identity of these builders remained a mystery. We knew how they lived and how they revolted, but we didn't know who they were. That changed in late 2025. By reconstructing an earlier form of the Uto-Aztecan language, linguists finally translated the city's visual symbols, revealing that the builders used an early form of Nahuatl. This discovery provides the missing link. The people who engineered the America's first great egalitarian megacity were the direct ancestors of the Aztecs. The Aztecs' long-held belief that this specific site was their sacred origin point was factually correct. They were standing in the very streets their own ancestors had built, burned, and abandoned. Teotihuacan is a testament to what humans can achieve through cooperation, but it is also a warning. Even the greatest megacity on Earth can be dismantled by its own people when the social contract is broken.